Hello, I'm Rob, and here I am with a review of the new Porcupine Tree album, Closure slash Continuation. This album was announced a few months ago, very spontaneously, um, and it got a lot of excitement from fans like myself. After a relatively successful solo career himself, Stephen Wilson returned to the Porcupine Tree Band, this time minus bassist Colin, and um, with the band consisting of now Stephen on lead vocals, guitar, and bass guitar in the studio at least. Um, Richard Barbieri on keyboards, and Gavin Harris on drums. I will say this right off the bat, I do feel that the album Closure slash Continuation is a good album. I'm not going to say it's not. Is it what we've been waiting for as Porcupine Tree fans? Possibly. It depends on expectations. I think it's a good album. I do think there are certain songs that are better than others, which is the case with any album. However, there are some that just don't seem to stand out quite as much as maybe they should. Richard Barbieri's keyboard work is amazing. He has this textural quality of playing and placing things, and I do think that he was very underused on this album. Whereas the album itself is more percussive in nature, and the past albums you could argue have been overly percussive as well, especially from In Absentia on. But in this instance, it's very noticeable. The bass and drums are very tight together, and it's not a bad thing. I miss the diversity that Richard's textures bring to the album. Now he does have his moments on the album, but I think they could have been a bit more prominent, in my opinion. Um, Standout tracks. I'm not going to go through track by track on the album. I'm just going to give you my personal uh, picks for the songs that stood out to me personally. As always, these reviews are subjective, and personal opinions, biases, whatever, come into play. So bear that in mind before commenting. Harridan, which was the first song we heard off of the album, which was dropped rather spontaneously a few months ago, was a really welcome surprise from the band. It was fresh in the sense that we heard more kind of a funky nature that we hadn't heard previously. Um, it has its movements. The song really goes through these different sections of different rhythmic patterns as far as very fast paced moving and then some slower tempo material within the context of that one song. It's a good song. Uh, it's it was nice to hear something new from the band and very exciting to be quite honest. I was very impressed by Steven's bass playing on this song. It's very funky, as I stated. And the 4/5 time signature that Gavin Harris is playing is on the drums is just hypnotic, for lack of a better word. Some of his drum fills are really amazing. And I did listen to the standard album, the 10 track, available on Spotify. I do not have my physical copy of the album yet. However, I will be obtaining it soon for my Porcupine Tree collection. Harridan, though, is a very good song. It's strong. Uh, Steven's vocals have this distortion effect on them throughout the first verse and second verse of the song. And it actually, toward the end of the verses, gives him sort of this Todd Rundgren quality to his voice. When Todd Rundgren will sing very intense, there is this sort of tone that he has, and it's very similar to what Steven was doing on Harridan. Second single off the album is also a great song. It is Of the New Day, it's called. And it's a good song. It's Porcupine Tree-ish, for lack of better words. And it's a reasonably good Porcupine Tree song, if not a very good Porcupine Tree song. It has a nice percussive feel once again that's very unusual. Some nice work from Richard. Stevens' guitar playing and vocals are consistent, and lyrically it's slightly more accessible than Harridan. My next pick for a song that I thought stood out was the fourth song. I'm skipping the third song, Hurt Calling, which was a single, third single off the album before it was released. I really didn't care for it. It didn't do much for me. Dignity, however, the fourth song on the album is just very moving, for me personally, and very intense, actually. It's trying to think of how to describe it. It's it's a song that I could actually feel something with, and my next pick is similar to that. Walk the Plank, which is my favorite song on the album. Sorry about that. It's Walk the Plank is my favorite song on the new album. It's track number 6, and yeah, it's a brilliant song. It's got this really haunting vibe about it, and I really like it a lot. And I think that maybe the track listing could have been jumbled a bit more so that certain songs were placed differently on the album, because that is the last standout track on the album for me. The final song on the Spotify version is Love in, hang on one second, love in the past tense. Sorry about that. And it's, for a closing track, it doesn't have a closing track quality for an album, in my opinion. You might disagree, as I said, this is my own opinion. It just doesn't hit me, it doesn't do anything for me. It's a good song. You know, the band themselves are great. The musicianship is unparalleled. Um, so you can't really fault the performances. Lyrically, it just really doesn't do it for me. That 11 past tense, track 10. Now, I I do really love the other songs. I think, tracks 1, 2, 4, and 6 are great songs, and especially 6. Walk the Plank is just sublime. But if I was going to give this album a ranking in terms of the Porcupine Tree discography, I would have to rank this as probably a 7 out of 10, with 10 being the best. And Dead Wing would be my pick for number 10. And my only pick, actually, for number 10. Aside from possibly Stupid Dream or Light Bulb Sun, they're close seconds, but um, there just wasn't enough um, textural elements, that sort of space rock feel that the band was known for early on, primarily, but it did carry over into the Roadrunner era, or what a lot of people refer to as heavy Porcupine Tree. I just, I think Closure slash Continuation, it's a nice addition to the Porcupine Tree catalog. It's good to see the band back and in full form, minus Colin on bass, um, and I really think that with the songs I mentioned in particular, they just for me are the standout tracks. Like I said, we each have our own opinions, and I wanted to make a brief list to sort of convey my thoughts and feelings on it. So I hope this review was helpful to you, the listener, to you, the watcher. Um, my name is Rob. My channel is Media Awareness, and I appreciate you checking out this review. Leave a comment. Check out my Patreon link below, and consider becoming a Patreon. All the perks are listed on the page itself, so just help yourself, and there'll be special content there from time to time, and as requested, of course. It's been delightful being able to bring you this review. My next one is slightly more thought out. This was very spontaneous, as I was not planning at all to do anything before early next week, but the new Porcupine Tree dropped, so I kind of thought, well, I'm getting back into this, may as well cover this album because I do love the band. And I would recommend checking out Deadwing if you haven't heard the album by Porcupine Tree, or if you don't know who they are. It's a good starter album, in my opinion. There are other albums I would recommend to start with as well, but that will be for another video. Thank you for your time. I'm not going to say this very frequently, but if you like this video, click the like button below and the bell icon for notifications. That way, every time I upload a video, YouTube will bug you and let you know it's there. So thank you.